Hi, welcome friends. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to use artist tiles for a 100-day project. So this was built on my 2022 100-day project. So if you saw the video where I walked you through some of my successful projects, one of the strategies that I use is to have a consistent format. So taking a peek, this is what it looked like. I used the artist tiles, and at the time I found this amazing, it's a made for Zentangle art, so it's this great album to add my tiles in. And this form factor, I loved it so much that in 2022 I continued creating these little tiles each day for 285 days. But the sad news is that this particular artist tile album I've not been able to find. So my quest was to find some other way to hold these little tiles, and I found something. So stay tuned. I'm going to walk you through the different tiles that I use, and then I'll show you some options for putting them together in albums. So let me get these on here. These are some of the artist tiles that I work on for in 2022 when I did that 100-day project. I used, for the first 100 days, I only used the white artist tiles, and these are 300 GSM. They're a cardstock, so they're not really designed for watercolor, but I learned how to kind of fake it on here because I was using watercolor. These little tiles, they're wonderful. These little cardstock, they come 75 in a packet. They're very affordable. Takes 2 sets to get you through an entire 100-day project. Here's your pro tip. What I would do whenever I was working with this size tile is I would prep for the week. And what I'd do is I'd flip them over, I'd write the day and the date, and even some of the content, like if I had a series of words, I would just jot that on the back and I'd be ready to go. So each week I'd have it set for the next 7 days. So if you Google Zentangle supplies, you'll be able to find all kinds of little square things to draw and to write on. After I got a little bored with using the white ones after I'd done maybe, I don't know, 150 days, and I switched over to the black. I used the black ones when I was doing that Inktober, and then it was really fun to explore what looks good on black paper. So just love these. They're both the same amount. They're basically a little cardstock. Easily, I have these linked in the Amazon store for y'all. Now, these Strathmore papers, absolutely love them, but they are, or I should say and they are 4-inch. These are 3.5-inch squares. These come as 4-inch squares, and there aren't as many. So this is 75 tiles, and these sets, this one, the watercolor tiles, there are only 10 in there. There are 30 in the tan and 20 in the Bristol. So if you want to have some little special ones, I don't know that I would, these are a little pricier, so I don't know that I would order them. I might just cut up, I've done this over here. Kelsey cut these up for me. So she took some Fabriano watercolor paper that was 140 pounds and cut them into 3.5-inch squares. She also trimmed these 4-inch tiles down to the 3.5-inch because I really liked working on that size. So this is a cold press. It's not really smooth. So all of my students, all of y'all who like a really precise pen work, you're going to want something that's smoother than this watercolor paper. So this cold press has a little bit of tooth to it, and it's a little bit bumpy. So if you want something that's smoother, the artist tiles are. These two are cardstock. There's also an option for the Strathmore. This Bristol is very smooth. Oh, it's just delightful. It's 100 pound, and it will take your pen and ink really well. And then this was a new one that I found, and it is the tan. And so I thought, oh, that would be fun just to do black and white on the tan, or maybe just black and white and one pop of color. And this one is 30, so you could do 3 of those if you wanted to do one for the whole 100 series. The other thing that sometimes I like to do is keep my paper, the shape the same, and then flip out some tools. Because let's say you get kind of bored around day 60 or 65, you want a little variety, you could just switch out the paper and keep going with whatever your intention is. And like I said, this is, yeah, these are convenient to come like that, but these, I've got one of those little corner rounders. And so, yeah, Kelsey cut up a bunch of Fabriano paper. So I have these tiles ready to go. So one of the things I have found helpful is to have all of my preparation done before I start my project. And that preparation means, what am I going to be working with each day? So a lot of times I'll use words or quotes. So I get my 100 words, my 100 quotes ready before day one. I prefer having my papers ready. So for instance, if I were going to do all watercolor papers, I would get these cut. I want to have what I'm going to put them in so that I don't end up with a bunch of loose tiles around the place. That's my preference. And that's what I've seen work for people who have completed the 100-day project. So now these lovelies, they're just fantastic, but I prefer being able to see my artwork. So let me show you some options. Let's keep these out. So we'll test these out in some of the things that I have found to hold them in, because like I said, so now let's test out, what are we going to do with these? Because 100 little tiles, that would be hard to keep up with. So this was the original, and these weren't a really good quality. You can see it's just a cheap cardboard. But what was amazing were these interior pockets that are the perfect size. So that was my quest. I started looking online to find something that would be a suitable alternative. So I found, it's really hard. So I found this. This is a photo album. And it, let me get this, you can take a peek. It would work okay. The width is the right height. It's a little bit, it's a little bit longer than what we need. So not horrible, because you could slip these in. It's going to be a little loosey-goosey. I don't know that I really love this one. But what you could do is, I really do kind of like the idea, but not for these little squares. If you wanted to, if you were doing like just something with pen and ink or pencil, you could use index cards. And index cards come in all different types. You've got the lined ones. They come with the grid. You can also get a dot grid. I think I shared these before. The little dot grid index cards. So if you were doing something with that, you could just trim them down the length of them, and they would fit in pretty nicely in this. So that's an option. The other thing that I didn't, so might work for you. One of the things that I did not like so much was just the kind of how big it is for 100. And now that I say that, I was like, yeah, it's a little bit wider than the other one was. So it's kind of like an awkward shape. So this one was kind of sort of like, meh, if I can't find anything else, this would work. So, and I'm also going to tell y'all things that how I was Googling and searching, so you might find it. Now, this one was fantastic. So this is an archival print preservers. And so apparently, as I was looking, this one's archival quality, no PVC, fits in a standard binder. And apparently there was a time, and some of the photographs were 3.5-inch squares. So look at this, y'all. It fits perfectly. It's got this little top loading, so that's going to work well. It fits in a regular binder, so you could just put them in a binder. And it has this little space in between. I think probably what I would do with that, if you wanted to, you could like slip in, if you were using the same supplies for all 6 of these, you could just make a note of what you're using. You could do anything else. You could use them as a little journal. if you were, you could put the dates on the back, you could do dates here, but it's this little bonus area. So I really, really love this. And they come in a set. Let me see how many are in here. There are each one, there are 25, and each one will hold 12 prints. So really nice. So you get your set of these, get a binder, grab some artist tiles, and you're off. So if this is a form factor that you feel drawn to, these I would recommend. I think I would go with these if I needed to house the little 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. One of the other things I discovered is if you do get the artist tiles this size, that are the 4-inch squares, you can more easily find holders for the 4-inch square because of some of the social media prints. So the 3.5 inch are a little more challenging, but the 4-inch, there were a lot more options for those. All right, I did mention using the, if you wanted to just use some index cards, check out this. I showed it in the previous video with some of the journals, but it also fits in here. So with the Grumbacher, this is the small, the 5.5 inch by 8.5 inch. And so you can pull these pages out. You have to trim them down just a little bit, but they fit in here beautifully. And this one comes with 25 of the inserts. So 4 would fit on each page. Fantastic. So you could slip those in. You could also slip in the index cards. I know they don't fit quite, as well as if you were to trim down your papers, but they don't seem to move around as much as they did in the little blue album. So this one's nice, and it's got a zipper and a little see-through. So this one I think would be really nice if you're the type that needs to easily see visual progress. So this one, I can't remember how much this was, but this paired with a little multimedia would be fantastic. I wouldn't recommend this one with any of the square shapes. They slid around too much in it, but this one would work well if you wanted to use it with index cards or trimming your own multimedia pages down. Now I have one more thing to share with you, and look at these cuties. This was a set of 3, and they are, what size are they? They're the 4-inch square, right? So you can see they're a little bit bigger than the 3.5. So these are 4-inch square, and it's watercolor paper. And just how absolutely cute is that? So it's an off-brand, so it's not, super fabulous. But I think this would make a really cute little holding for a 100-day project. The covers feel like a cardstock, so they would take color or paint very easily. This looks like it's a cloth, so if you were to write on it, it might bleed on that, but you could definitely do your annotations or putting your dates for the project on the inside or the outside cover. Let me see. Oh, it's glued down, so you've got a little bit of the paper that's glued on that. But yeah, this was a little set of 3 of them. I didn't count the pages, but that's definitely going to keep you doing some daily creativity for a while. Well, I hope this is helpful. So this is just walking through the materials. I'm going to do one more video where I will give you some ideas of how to use these with a 100-day project. So if you are participating in the 100-day project, check out the description below. I have additional videos linked there. I put together a playlist for you. There are some blog posts, things I have learned throughout the years participating in the 100-day project.